Today's video is brought to you by Vinyl Moon. Vinyl Moon is the all-in-one deluxe vinyl discovery. Every month they press awesome music on beautiful colored records and send them right to your door. Join today with discount code VINYLIZE to get $10 off. Alright, now recently in a mail time video, I received a couple of these pocket disc records, and I thought they were pretty neat. So today I figured we'd learn a little bit more about them and overall kind of explore this really weird format. Hey friends, welcome back to Vinyl Eyezz. I am Jarrett New, and today we're going to be talking about pocket disc records, which were a special type of flexi disc record that were pressed during the late 1960s. But real quick, before we get to all of that, today's song of the day is Chop Suey by System of a Down. And if you have a suggestion for a song of the day, post in the comments down below, and you might see it in a future video. Now, the pocket disc was a type of flexi disc record that was around very briefly from 1968 to 1969. They were made by a now defunct company called the Americom Corporation based in New York. Now, the same group also pressed Ameridiscs during this time as well. And those were basically just your average run-of-the-mill flexi discs, kind of like this one. Now, as you can see, if I hold these things up, there's quite a few noticeable differences between these two formats. First of all, the flexi disc is absolutely massive when you compare it to the extremely tiny pocket disc. And actually, the pocket disc could fit right over this in the center label, and you might not even be able to tell. That's how small this thing really is. It's only 4 inches in diameter. So why did they decide to make these things so small? Well, as their name suggests, music companies wanted people to carry their tunes with them in their pocket. Now, as we all know, normal vinyl record albums, like the ones you see on the wall behind me, are pretty big, 12 inches in diameter. And even the vinyl singles are 7 inches, so yet again, too big. But these were the perfect size. Now, I'm sure pocket discs were designed as kind of a novelty and were never meant to replace those normal 12-inch albums, but I do think that they might have been the music industry's early attempt to see if the general public would embrace portable music. So you could say that long before the iPod, the iPhone, and Spotify, there was the pocket disc. Now, around the same time as the pocket disc, there were other formats pushing people towards portability. 2 examples of this were the 8-track and the compact cassette, which were both developed around the same time in the mid to late 60s. Now, getting back to the pocket disc, they sold them for 50 cents a piece back in the day out of these custom vending machines. And even a company called Philco, which was a smaller company that got absorbed by Philips, they made a tiny record player just for these. But that's okay, if you didn't have one of those, you could still play it on a normal turntable. Also, speaking of vintage stuff, check out some of these cool ads that they had for them, where they really kind of stressed this whole portability thing. Now, with all this fancy marketing, you would think that this whole pocket disc thing would really catch on. But unfortunately, it didn't. It flopped. And there's a few reasons for that. First off, the sound quality was extremely poor compared to a normal vinyl record. Also, even if you do compare it to a normal flexi disc, it has some disadvantages. Although the sound quality is about the same, the stability is not. For example, the corners of a normal flexi disc record are usually square, which would allow you to put coins on top or even tape them down so that they can really stay on top of the turntable. But since the corners of a pocket disc are rounded, you don't really have that option. Also, being that normal vinyl records were still very popular during this time, people would much rather pay a little more and have a higher fidelity playback of their favorite song. So most people didn't really mind carrying around these larger records. Now, for those who did want something more portable, they leaned more towards the 8-tracks or later on cassettes. And that's why those formats grew, and unfortunately, the pocket disc died. So overall, based on the quirky history of these little records, I think they're kind of neat. And if you do happen to come across one at your local record shop or even online, I'd recommend you pick it up and kind of add it to your collection, because these things do make a great little conversation starter. Now, what do you guys think about these pocket discs, and do you personally have any in your collection? Let us all know down in the comments below, and if you love vinyl records, be sure to subscribe and smack that little notification bell so you won't miss the new videos. And most importantly, friends, have an awesome day and keep spinning that vinyl.